Welcome back to this video series all about the future of SEO, where we're talking about GEO or generative engine optimization and what that means for your business in the age of AI. I saw a comment on a Threads post the other day where somebody was saying that GEO doesn't exist and it's basically just the same thing as SEO. And I had an experience this past week that definitely showed me otherwise. And this is why I think it's really important to acknowledge that the way we show up in AI tools like ChatGPT as a business owner is different from the things that help us show up in Google. I've been working on my own SEO for a really long time. I rank #1 for several keywords, and some that are really profitable to me. They bring in quite a few people every single month to my website. The other day, I had this idea that I was going to go into ChatGPT and I was going to type in basically like a ChatGPT question version of the same keyword that I rank #1 for in Google. And what was really interesting is that I wasn't showing up at all. ChatGPT was listing out like 10 different businesses, all related to the services that I offer, and I wasn't even included in the list. Not gonna lie, I was kind of bummed to see this, especially when I actually get quite a few clicks every month from AI tools like ChatGPT to my website anyway, just not for this specific query. And it was really interesting and kind of sent me down a rabbit hole looking into what strategies I could be doing to help myself rank for this particular inquiry into ChatGPT. This to me is just proof that some of the things that we're doing for SEO as part of our marketing are not going to be the same as some of the things that we are doing to rank in AI tools like Claude, Perplexity, or ChatGPT. And that's totally okay. We have to shift with the times and figure out what the next best steps are going to be. It's also really important to mention that all of this is so new. There are no AI search experts yet, GEO experts. It's all of us just here trying to figure it out one day at a time. But if you're like me and you're super interested in this stuff and you want to crack the code, or maybe you're just a small business owner or a marketer who wants to stay up to date on all the changes that are happening all the time, I highly recommend that you hop on my waitlist for my SEO course, Creative SEO. I am planning on doing a GEO sprint where the next time we launch this course, we're going to be doing a period of time up front where we all work on our GEO together, discuss what's working and what's not, and actually knock out those tasks as a group in the course. I'll include a link to join the waitlist in the description below. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about 2 different ways your business can show up in AI search and what you can do to help your business become more mentionable. The first way that you can show up in AI search is through what I'm calling a brand mention. And that's because it's literally a name drop of your business. Somebody is coming to an AI tool like ChatGPT, for example. They have a problem in their mind. They know the solution is to hire somebody, and they are asking ChatGPT for the best person to hire to fix their problem. Hopefully that's you. Here's the thing that's really interesting though. With SEO, you would be optimizing your website itself for specific keywords, incorporating them into your content, into your headings, making sure that everything is optimized properly. You also want to focus on backlinks so that reputable sources around the internet are actually linking back to your website. This passes what's known as link juice, which is basically like little credibility markers to Google that your site is reputable and valuable. There's a lot that goes into good SEO strategy, and I definitely can't fit it all into this video. It's important to mention that a lot of what we're doing for SEO strategy is going to positively affect our ability to show up in AI tools like ChatGPT as well. So if you've worked really hard on your SEO, it's not like all that work was for nothing. It is helpful, but ChatGPT, from my personal experience with myself and my clients, relies on other very important markers as well. If you go to ChatGPT and you ask for the best wedding photographers in Boston, for example, it's going to give you a list of maybe 10 different businesses. And while some of those might be overlapping with the same 10 businesses that Google recommends in those first 10 spots, I guarantee you there's definitely going to be some differences. Here's the thing though, ChatGPT isn't just looking at the content on your website and the keywords that you're using. It's not just looking at all of the high-ranking websites that are linking back to your website. It's specifically looking for a lot of written social proof. So for example, don't just include things like like images of logos of places you've been featured, but actually talk about the places that you've been featured in the text on your website. Because ChatGPT can't necessarily scan those images, but it can read all the text on your website. If you've worked with over 200 clients in your area, make sure that you mention that too. These things really help to position you as the expert. And here's another really important piece of this. You want to get yourself on as many best of lists as possible. This could be things like industry directories. This could be things like blog posts that list the top 10 interior designers in Portland, Maine, or the top 10 wedding photographers in Boston, Massachusetts. You need other sources on the internet to be calling you the best. And if other people aren't talking about you and calling you the best, you kind of need to do it yourself. And not in like a braggy way, more of like a, here's all the awards I've won by. And if you haven't won any awards, maybe you can submit yourself for some. I'm gonna share some specific strategies of how to do this in another video in the series. The other kind of cool thing that I'm noticing is the sites that mention you don't necessarily have to be major publications. It could be like a small local blog or a really niche industry podcast transcript. So instead of just thinking about how you want to rank for the keywords Boston wedding photographer, you now should be thinking about how you can prove that you are one of the best Boston wedding photographers. It's a subtle difference, but the difference is definitely there. Through things like the testimonials on your website, through an about page that talks about your accolades and your many years of experience, through mentions around the internet that refer to you as one of the top photographers in your area. The words you write and the words written about you are going to be very important. I think it also helps to remember that ChatGPT has made search so much more human. So when somebody asks for the best wedding photographers in Boston, it might ask follow-up questions like, do you have a specific style in mind? Or is there anything else specific that you're looking for in a photographer? If you're a photographer with a light and airy style, make sure that that's included on your website in the copy. Because if somebody asks that specific question to ChatGPT, you could be the one to pop up. Basically, anything about your business that might make you the perfect fit for somebody should be included in your website copy. This is why I absolutely love doing copy projects for our web design clients, because we get to design the website and craft copy that really talks about who this business owner is and what sets them apart from the competition. If you're watching this and you need help with a new website, copy, a logo, a brand identity, make sure to reach out over on our website, localcreative.co. I would love to get to know you better and see if we'd be a great fit. The second way that you can show up in AI search is through content mentions. This is another way to kind of position yourself as an expert in the eyes of AI tools. Content mentions aren't necessarily a direct mention of your brand, but say you have a blog and you've written lots of helpful blog posts out there, and somebody asks a question to Claude, for example, it could pull in a snippet from your blog post and then give you credit with a link back to your website. Now, one of my least favorite things about GEO when compared to SEO is that we're kind of in the dark here. We don't get any data about how many times our brand is mentioned in AI tools or how many times our content is mentioned in AI tools. We can see clicks back to our website though, which is very helpful. If you're using Google Analytics, you can go in and create a filter and actually see how many clicks back to your website you're getting from the different AI tools, but this still doesn't really give us a lot to go off of. So my guess would be that a brand mention in ChatGPT is going to be much more valuable and much more likely to get clicked on versus a content mention where ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity is just quoting you and then giving you a little credit back to your website, and maybe someone will click, but they probably won't. This is just sort of all part of this bigger picture strategy to make you the expert and more likely to show up in general. And if you're showing up as the recommended answer for a lot of different questions, you probably will start to see some traffic to your website. This is actually where most of my traffic from ChatGPT is coming now. So don't write off this strategy. If you want to help your content get picked up in AI tools, you want to make sure that you are answering frequently asked questions that your ideal clients have. Take a minute and brainstorm 5 to 10 questions. You can even use an AI tool to help you come up with these questions, and then spend some time writing a blog post for each one. For example, someone might be asking, how much does it cost to hire a wedding photographer in Boston? And you could create an entire long form article kind of going through the different things that you should consider as somebody hiring a photographer, what your budget might be, and how to set expectations. Somewhere in that blog post though, even though it is a longer form article, you want to have a short, succinct answer to the primary question that ChatGPT can kind of pull in as that primary snippet. And Google's probably likely to pull in that snippet too if it's good enough. So this one is kind of a win for both SEO and GEO. When you're thinking about what type of questions you want to be answering in your blog, it's important to consider how many of your clients are local. If 100% of your clients are local, you definitely want to mix in some location-based questions into your mix of blog articles, and then also some general ones about your niche or the services that you offer. Now, if you're not a location-based business, you still want to come up with some pretty specific questions, but they should be more about your expertise and what you do and how you work with clients versus just really broad questions that are going to be much more competitive to show up for. I'm going to be creating another video all about how to format your blog posts for SEO and GEO, so stay tuned for that one soon. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to let me know in the comments below, or if I've totally lost you, ask your questions because I can always create follow-up videos to help clarify anything I've touched on here. And if you haven't already, make sure to hop on the waitlist for my SEO course. I will leave the link in the description below. So basically, to recap here, if you want your business to be showing up in AI tools, you want to be focusing on two different types of mentions. The first is brand mentions that rely heavily on credibility markers. And the second is content mentions, where content that you've written on your blog or your website is getting pulled in and referenced as an answer to a question that somebody asked a tool like ChatGPT. Make sure you check back and watch the next video in this series if you want even more practical tips on how to actually put this all together into a strategy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.